Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear watcher, dear subscriber, hope you will be fine and in the high state of iman and health. Myself, motivational speaker, leadership business coach, master trainer, language trainer, vlogger, novelist, Professor MA Raza. Today, we are going to discuss a biographical sketch of Thomas Hardy and influences on him and some important aspects regarding it. So let me start now. Let's get started. A biographical sketch of Thomas Hardy and influences on him, a mason's son. The very important and very keynote point is that the mason's son. The mason's son. Deep and profound is the influence of Hardy's life on his work. He was born on June 2, 1840 at Upper Bockhampton near Dorchester. He was the son of a builder and he himself practiced architecture in his early life for some time. So he received a mixed culture in which precise notions, the sense of volumes and of equilibrium of an architect are joined to a process of artistic refining. This fact has a lasting influence over the plots of his novels. He builds his novels as a mason builds a house. The string of every part is calculated, every stone has its place, every crumb of mortar bears its part. The creative work of Hardy is governed by a powerful logic. The logic of events infinitely deal, never moving by the tenth part of a millimeter from its pointed sequence. The broad sweep of design goes hand in hand with the strict accuracy in detail. Nothing, not even the slightest part, is neglected and forgotten. The end of final issues in Hardy's stories are foregone conclusions. The things and circumstances being as they are, the results will be as they must be. No trait of Hardy's work is so marked as this, and none is so impressive of all the great writers of English novel. He alone has, in equal proportions, great gift of imaginations from the poetic treatments of his subject matter and extraordinary power of inventions of events and characters. His native place is in the lap of nature. The second important fact is the Upper Bockhampton near Dorchester. The spell of the word Bock, B-O-C-K, so it cannot be related with book. So be careful about it. Near Dorchester, in the neighborhood of which he has lived a retired and secluded life for practically the whole of his long and busy life, is situated in the lap of nature. In the lap of nature. He was an imaginative lad, impressions received of nature in his early life stamped his work later on. Nature in his novel is very important. It is not just the background in his drama, but a leading character in it. Sometimes it exercises an active influence on the course of events. More often, it is a spiritual agent coloring the mood and sharpening the dispositions of human beings. So after completing the commentary of that he was in a particular pace and in a particular context of the lap of nature, now we are going to discuss the developer of countryside. For example, he lived among the son of earth and he described the son of earth. That is a particular sequence to the person. He simply could not choose successfully men from the madding crowd as his protagonist. Chief characters, his characters are country bred. His characters are plebeians, agricultural people rooted in the soil. Moreover, just as countryside is sparsely populated, similarly as canvas is not crowded. We are not particularly talking here that we can also compare it that it is totally against Jane Austen, like Pride and Prejudice, and same as George Eliot, the Middlemarch, and so on. So we can say it that it's particularly in the comparison and the totally opposite of the next one. I've got a live comment, and that might be from. Let me check that. Okay, I think I have got just a salutation. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you will be fine and in the high state of iman and health. Thank you very much. And here is that his canvas is not crowded, not crowded. Be careful it. With a large number of characters, again, the calm and quiet atmosphere of rural life also prevails in his books. Influence of village culture, that is another important part of an important influence to Thomas Hardy, influence to Thomas Hardy. Be careful it. His stories contain in themselves relics of popular English superstitions which played so large a role in the stories. He listened around the fire in the long winter's evening, and the ballad stories heard their mark too. Village humor that he enjoyed among the rustic folk rustic folk permeates his novels. So we can say that a particular folk sequence, folklores, the particular rural area that is available, that also signify and that also justify his characters in a particular sequence. We can say that influence of a village culture that is particularly available in Thomas Hardy creations. His surroundings, that is another important part, and we are, let me just another comment. Okay, I'll discuss it in this next part. We are also talking about surroundings. His surroundings, his permissions for which he is so often blamed, is also simply an outcome of impressions that he received of villages life in his early life. There was plenty of tragedies in the life of poverty-stricken Wessex folks, dependents and ignorant, exposed alike to the oppressions of the social system and the caprice of weather, and the president of the immortals at every moment of their life. The people among whom Hardy lived and was brought up were made conscious of man's hopelessness in the face of circumstances. So he happened to entertain a perverse view of God and his way. He believes firmly that circumstances are more powerful than. Okay, let me reread it because my net was disconnected. So I'm gonna repeat the line again. Being are sorry the circumstances of God and his ways. He believes firmly the circumstances are more powerful than human beings are, and chance in its purely malevolent aspect over life so often and spoils its charms. Furthermore, he believes life is not worth living because it is so full of sorrows and suffering trials trials and tribulations, pain and agony. For him, happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of human pain and sufferings. After surroundings his Wessex, that is another important influence, and in the end, we must record another aspect of his early life that left its mark upon his works. The place where he lived, rural Dorsets, is a remote place, and it was more remote in the early years of the 19th century that it is now feudal and sequestered, centering round church and village in and squares manor house. Its life little touched by the changes of the great world, revolved in the same slow rhythm as for humans, as for hundreds of past years. The region is full of the smoldering relics of bygone ages, and he has sensitive brooding imaginations that loves to play over the past. Its outcomes is the land of his inventions. The region is full of the smoldering relics of bygone ages, and he has a sensitive brooding imagination that loves to play over the past. Its outcomes is the land of his inventions, Wessex, that he had dealt with in so masterly a manners that it has become an immortal region in the realms of novel. First impressions of a writer are the most fundamental and the most durable. They cast their deep shadows over his work, and the dictum is far more true in case of Hardy, the novelist. Now we are going to discuss the particular major works of Thomas Hardy about the novels. The first novel, Desperate Remedies, in 1871. The second novel, Under the Greenwood Tree, in 1872. The next one, A Pair of Blue Eyes, in 1873. Far from the Madding Crowd in 1984. In 1984? No, sorry, 1884. That must be. That's a composing mistake here, and you have to clear it. The Hand of Alberta or Alberta in 1876. The Return of the Native in 1878. The Trumpet Major in 1880. Ludician in 1881. Two on a Tower, 1882. The Mayor of Casterbridge in 1886. The Woodlanders in 1887. Tess of Urban Villas, one of my most favorite, and 1891, after Thomas Hardy's The Return of the Native. I like much Tess of the Urban Villas in 1891, and then my most favorite, Jude the Obscure, in 1895, and the well-beloved 1897. Short stories by Thomas Hardy, Wessex Tales in 1888, a group of novel dramas, 1891, Life's Little Ironies, 1894, A Changed Man, 1913. Poems and Plays, Wessex Poems, 1890, Wessex Poems, 1890, Poems of the Past and the Present, 1901, Times, Laughing Stocks, 1909, Strides of Circumstances, 1914, Moments of Vision, 1917, Late Lyrics and Earliers, 1922, Human Shows, Fantasies, not Plantacies, Far Fantasies, Songs and Trifles in 1925, Winter Words in 1928, and Collected Poems in 1931. Plays that Dynasties, a drama in the three parts, 1903, 1906, or 1903 or 1906 or 1908. The famous tragedy of Queen of Cornwall, 1923, that is also dramatized and available in film shape on different Hollywood aspects and the Hollywood box office, and all some parts are also available on Netflix and on YouTube. Plays. After plays, miscellaneous life and arts 1925, later transcribed by the original autographs in the Colby College Library 1954. So that is the last thing, 1954. That also tells us that the 1984 of the Medding crowd, far from the Medding crowd, the dates are available in that particular 1984. That is a composing mistake and that is a printing mistake. And because the last work is 1954, which is the original transcribed by the original autographs in the Colby College Library. So how do you believe that after 30 or 40 years in 1984, because all is sequence and all is timeline of printing is starting from 1871 to 1954. So we firmly believe on it that that is a particular composing mistake. So today I am going to close my this topic, and we have discussed particularly the a biographical sketch of Thomas Hardy and influences on him by some important influences and some important points. The next topic will be addressed inshallah, main feature of Hardy as a novelist, or the main features of the Hardy being a novelist. So we will discuss particularly some important aspects about his characterization, some important aspects of his realistic touch in characterization, some important aspects of the importance of plot, scene and events in his novel, and some very important aspects of Thomas Hardy's use of marvelous and his place in English literature. We will particularly discuss being a novelist, and we will also discuss his pattern, we will also discuss his realism, we will also discuss his arts and crafts, and we will also discuss his temperament, his superiority, and some important other elements as Thomas Hardy being a novelist, or Thomas Hardy as a novelist. So today I am going to conclude all my topic, and I am going to sum up with that we have discussed some important and major work of Thomas Hardy, from the novels, from plays, from some distorted poetry, and some important from short stories, and some miscellaneous work. And we have also discussed the influences, as he was a mason son. He also got rural influences. He also got some important aspects. So now I'm going to conclude all my now I'm going to complete the topic here right now, and I'm requesting to let me go now. And before going, I would like to request to you that kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon of the channel. And if you want some Urdu aspects for if you are the student of BS Urdu, or your anyone in your family, in your relativeness, in your neighborhood, or in your friendship is a person available for BS Urdu lectures, you can also subscribe Murshid Urdu Professor MA Raza and hit the bell icon. So let me go now and say with me, do something more for humanity, do something more for knowledge and practices. Have a good day. Bye bye.